And we're live on YouTube.
Good morning! Coming to you live from Axe Media Group headquarters here in beautiful Springfield, Missouri. It's the Morning Drive with Matt and Jay with your hosts, Matt and Jay!
.bz.
.bz. Let's get busy! NaturalSolutionStore.bz. The show brought to you by NaturalSolutionStore.bz.
What'd you say? Did you say your name is Matt?
Yeah, my name is Matt, yes.
My name is Jay.
I haven't done that whole
Oh,
part
you
yet.
haven't done?
No,
oh,
no.
okay. We'll do it again then.
So,
Just in case you missed it.
Just in case. Waiting for the hook. Just sit here for like 20 minutes.
There it is.
All right. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Drive with Matt and Jay. My name is Matt.
My name is Jay.
Glad to have everybody on board with us today.
We're
Now,
glad.
yes,
Now.
yes, it's going to be one of those repeater days.
No.
It is, isn't it?
No.
That was always funny. You know, I'd always tell when it was going to be a goofy day because you'd be repeating everything I say. And
all right, I will refrain.
no, it's funny.
No, I will refrain because I can see how it disturbs you.
Don't you dare refrain.
Don't you?
This isn't music class.
You can't tell me what to do. You're not the boss of me. Well, you are the boss of me.
FBI says
but
more
I'm
people killed with
rebellious.
knives, hammers, clubs, and even feet
What?
than rifles in 2018. A post posted by our friend Curtis Prince.
Hi, Curtis. Good morning, Curtis. I'm not even on here. I gotta get off of this and do my job.
Do your
All right.
job, Jay.
So, all right. So, good morning, everybody. I am busy sharing this from YouTube. I'm liking it.
He's busy sharing.
I'm sharing it to Facebook. See how that works? And I'm going to title it
And you guys do the same.
The Morning
Do the
Drive.
same for us.
Yes, and I will
Share these videos.
Yes.
We would really, it helps us more than you know if you share these videos.
Oh, I'm distorting.
Yeah.
Hey, testing.
But we just get excited sometimes.
I posted it. What do you think of that?
You're a poster. Speaking of posters,
What about them?
have you seen this poster that they made for the live telethon?
I have not. Oh, I've seen that, yeah.
Yeah.
That's old news.
Isn't it? That's old news, he says. All right, so who do we
Now
got
I'm
watching
watching.
so far?
I'm
Steve
watching with
Schultz, good morning. Marsha Holland, good morning.
Good morning, Marsha.
Steve Schultz, I know
Steve Schultz.
what's going on. Your coffee is too strong. You know what they say? If the coffee's too strong, you're too darn old. Just saying. No, that's something about music. If the music's too loud, you're too old.
Something like that.
But you know what?
Something like that and stuff.
Something like that and stuff.
All right, here I am. All right, I think I've got this mic up
Such
too
a beautiful day in the Ozarks. Look at
It
a
is
little
such
bit,
a beautiful day.
A little bit cloudy, but it's like
Little
60
bit.
degrees. But you know what? This weather is so beautiful. Steve
60
McAllister, good
degrees,
morning. Dennis
Dr.
Everson,
Z.
good morning. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel if you have not. Explanation point. I think you meant exclamation point. He's using voice to text, and instead of putting an exclamation point, it's put the word explanation point. We're not making fun of you, Dennis. I've done that all the time. I've sent stuff. I'm like, wait a minute. I should have looked at that before I sent it. All right. There is no strong coffee, just weak people. That's what he says. Dennis, you have had our coffee, right? You know what? This black silk coffee is delicious.
It is delicious.
You know, I didn't realize how much I missed it until I went ahead and just bit the bullet and bought the big one.
Hey, that's my volume, right?
Yeah. I thought you were just trying to listen to it.
Nope.
So yesterday we talked about forgiveness and letting go of stress and upsetness about stuff to people. Good morning, dynamic duo, Steve McAllister says. Hey, I didn't call you Steve Highlander that time. But you know what that noise is? You know what the sound of that is?
That
Jay?
means, yes.
That means it's time for a commercial. And I have to redo all my banners now because I accidentally saved a blank slate on our morning drive thing this morning. So, yeah. This show is brought to you by...
Oh, are you ready?
Yeah, let's go ahead and do one. Why
We're
not?
going to do a commercial here.
Hold on just a second. Let me get
All right, so what I've got is basically from your eyeglasses down. Ta-da!
Are we good?
We are merging.
We are merging.
And who are you doing a commercial for?
NaturalSolutionStore.bz. That's right, merge. Oh, wait, wrong merge. Wrong merge. Sorry. I'm very, very unprofessional today.
You are.
Let's do this and yeah. Oh, so you got my face on there right now, don't you?
Yep.
All right. So, hey, everybody. Good morning. Matt here from the producer's desk, or across from Jay, so to speak. Today's show is brought to you by NaturalSolutionStore.bz. Did I say natural?
Yeah, you did.
Didn't I? NaturalSolutionStore.bz.
Can you say that?
Yeah. NaturalSolutionStore.bz there, don't you know? Now, today I'm going to talk about a little bit of berberine HCI. There you go. Boom. There's so many to choose from on this website, and I have to pick one each commercial that we do, and sometimes it's difficult. But berberine HCI has antibacterial, anti-inflammatory, and immune-enhancing properties. It's effective against a wide range of bacteria, protozoa, and fungi. So I can't take it because I'll disappear because I'm a fun guy. Anyways,
Exactly.
it can be used topically on cuts and other wounds as well. It's perhaps most commonly used to treat gastrointestinal issues, including traveler's diarrhea, which sounds very, very unpleasant, and from food poisoning. Now, preliminary research suggests berberine, its beneficial effects may cascade into helping many different conditions. Among them are depression, perhaps due to the increase in noradrenaline and serotonin. Cancer, berberine may help to suppress tumor growth and spread. And an antioxidant, anti-inflammatory infections, including antiviral effects against the flu, and non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, or NAFLD for short,
What?
as it helps to reduce fat buildup in your liver.
What?
So berberine has been shown to lower cholesterol and blood sugar and assist in weight loss and improve your heart health. So it helps to lower cholesterol, supports blood sugar metabolism, and it supports cardiovascular health. So if any of these apply to you, go online, www.naturalsolutionstore.bz, and pick yourself up one today. Back to you guys.
Ta-da! We're back.
It really does make me look like I go cross-eyed whenever I do that, when I just open my eyes.
Maybe it's because you do go cross-eyed.
Ouch.
Could be.
I'm cross-hearted.
All right, so I better
for the
stop.
cross.
I'm setting up banners for the next show
That's all right.
because he sent me the information. I should have been here earlier and done that.
Yeah.
I think I might start coming earlier just to do that.
You're already here before me. Well, unless I'm coming right after I get off work.
So I've been reading about the crucifixion of Crucifixion
Cruise
of
fishing?
Christ.
Is there a
Yes.
thing such as cruise fishing?
Jesus was crucified.
I know. I was just being honoring. Because I guess you can fish on a cruise.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've never been on a cruise. But the crucifixion, go on. Sorry. I digress.
The crucifixion. I've been reading about it.
It was pretty harsh. Pretty rough. Right behind them was a mound full of skulls and bones. Golgotha was the hill that he was crucified on.
Yeah.
And that's the hill of the skull.
Right.
Because there's a lot of skulls there. Because,
Mountain.
a mountain of skulls.
It says mountain.
Yeah.
Depends on that. So I started reading my New King James instead of the internet and English.
English Standard Version.
Yeah. So what really stands out to me in the crucifixion as it's described in John is the absolute disrespect. Pilate, though, was not
Pontius
sure.
Pilate. Well, he didn't want to crucify him.
No, he didn't want to crucify him. Right.
But he talked to Jesus numerous times.
I don't know that he believed.
I think he did.
I think he did. Some of the other Gospels describe it in a way that makes me think that maybe he did. But then again, the writer may have been hopeful.
Well, I
Because
tell you,
I didn't say exactly that he did.
well,
Only God knows.
he said, I find no fault in this man. I wash my hands of this. He knew what they were doing. That's why, and I believe
He knew they were crucifying an innocent man.
Yes, and he also, well, whenever he put the tag up, the board up describing his crime.
Jesus of Nazareth, King of the Jews.
King of the Jews.
Yeah.
Yeah, and boy, they got mad when he said that.
He knew their religion very well, though, back and forth, inside and out, because he asked Jesus where he was from, and the reason he asked Jesus from where he was from is because he knew that the prophecies said that the Messiah would come from Bethlehem.
Right.
But he was Jesus of Nazareth.
Yeah, but a lot of people didn't know that he was born in Bethlehem.
Yes, but it surprises me that so in this being a trial, that he didn't have the information of who his parents were, where they were from, and all of that, because then the census, he would have known and been aware of that. He would have known that he was born in Bethlehem. He should have.
Yeah. Well, they went to Bethlehem.
If he had done justice.
Well,
he would know.
they went to Bethlehem to do the census.
Right, but also the census was a requirement of Rome, and being Pilate was his title, right? Not his actual name.
No,
so
I think his last name his name was Pilate. He was Pontius.
Pontius Pilate. Right, but Caesar's name wasn't Caesar.
No.
And I think these were titles that their name was integrated with to
That's something interesting to look up.
Yeah. So regardless of that, that's not an important part of the story, really. But that he was the man in charge. He was there to know and understand the people, because that was how Rome was able to maintain a stable kingdom and rule the known world, was that he did not try to devastate all of their cultural beliefs and all of their spiritual beliefs. They allowed those things so that they could maintain order and not constantly have civil war or rebellion. Not civil war, but rebellion. So this was an occupation by Rome in Jerusalem.
Yeah. And there was still a king of the Jews.
But what really interests me is the mob rule.
Yeah.
Mob rule mentality. Even Caesar, a man appointed by, even Pilate, a man appointed by Caesar to maintain this society under their rule, was overwhelmed by the mob.
Yeah. Good
and
morning,
allowed
Linda Fleetwood.
something to
Morning,
happen
Buddy Pillmore.
that he knew was not right and just.
I'm catching up on all of our.
So when we see mobs today having their way,
Morning, Scott.
having their way, destroying private property, and when the private property is destroyed, right? Who's responsible for that? The owner of the property.
Yep.
Ends up left with the responsibility for the damages, because the mob is anonymous. Right?
Yeah. Dennis says that we should keep the cross in our eyes. When we were talking about me being cross-eyed.
Right. True.
Think where
see
the
that
world
today,
would
right?
be without the cross.
Don't
Yeah.
you see that today? The mob ruling and the authorities not pursuing justice, in that when the mob
Thanks, Linda.
does damage, are they really hotly pursuing these people? And these things are so public in the media. Why are not the pursuit and conviction of the criminals who did the damage, who are responsible for the damages, why are they not publicly being tried? Or at least publicly being announced their trial and their sentence? Because mob is ruling. Right?
Yep.
And
It is, and it does that today too. Like with all the craziness that's going on in the world today, that's all mob ruled too.
yeah.
That's our government trying to appease a small majority, or a small majority, a small group of people that threaten them.
Yeah.
So they try to appease that small group, not caring about anybody else that just happens to not be saying anything about it.
There's a major problem with justice.
Oh, yeah.
Justice has been bought and sold for so long that it's no longer justice. It's not. It's no longer in our grasp.
It's freedom to the highest bidder.
Or to those who would cause the most trouble. The squeaky wheel, but it's not even the squeaky wheel. Mob rule is not a squeaky wheel. Mob rule is threat and anarchy. Anarchy is ruling in our country.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. And a lot of it comes with a lot of these colleges, these liberal arts colleges that. It seems to me that there is one side. Now, I'd be okay if a college was teaching both sides of the coin. That would be acceptable. But whenever they're only teaching and they're only allowing liberal stuff in their curriculum, that's a problem. What is somebody going to do with a liberal arts degree? What job can you do in the liberal arts? What job can you do in social justice? Is there jobs out there? Is there a market for jobs in social justice?
One thing about the arts is usually something in the arts that is pretty consistent throughout the arts of any kind of any nature, is that they're dramatic. They have such a dramatic and a powerful effect on almost everybody that sees it, right? So when you have people of what they're really after is dramatic effect. Not necessarily to create a work of art I don't even know what liberal arts really means.
Does anybody really know what liberal arts means?
Right.
It's the world we live in is crazy today. I saw a thing the other day, and it was a woman doing she had on a mirrored skirt with a hole in it, and had a sign saying, "You can touch me however you want to." And people were touching her inappropriately in this hole on her skirt, and it was all mirrors. And I guess it was some sort of artistic display or some kind of protest against I don't know what it was, to be honest with you. I looked at it I read it for like 5 lines, and then I'm like, okay, this is enough. It wasn't inappropriate. It didn't say anything inappropriate, but just the idea of people, and that's like an artistic demonstration of some sort. Why would you want strangers coming up and doing that? Why now? For some reason now it's okay for people to act this way in public. I don't know. It shows you how kind of how disturbing the times have become.
Part of the problem too is that our court systems, our legal systems.
That's right, Steve. Sick.
Our judges. Our judge positions.
Now, just real quick before we go any further, because I want to let everybody know that the views and opinions expressed here on the show are that of ours alone, not of anybody necessarily, or not of Acts Ministry Media Group or anything like that. This is all us. So if you want to get mad about something we say, get mad at us, not Acts Media Group, because we're using the platform. Anyways, go ahead.
Well, our court systems have been infiltrated by judges who have posed as people who would uphold the law as it exists and as it's written, but who in fact believe that their ideals are above the law.
Right.
And so, and if you look at the age groups of people that would be judges, they're people from the 50s, 60s, and 70s.
Yeah.
Right?
And as they die off and younger...
There are people who were young adults in the 50s, 60s, and 70s when these, when there was a movement in our universities that was against the establishment and against the law, against our law.
Here in a little bit...
Rule of law.
I want to listen to my son's new song.
Uh-huh.
I haven't heard it yet. But first, we're going to do a real quick...
Well, the reason I'm bringing these things up is because in reading the...
Marcia talks about the Pride marches coming up.
Well, when I'm in my reading about the the crucifixion of Christ and how mob ruled and justice was not served and it was unjust, and then knowing a little bit about the prophecies about the end times and what's coming for either us or the generations that follow us who are Christian, and what they have to face or what we have to face here in the future, this is really the vehicle by which these things will occur, is that mob will rule, that the court systems will cave to the mob's demands.
Right.
That they would not be in the majority. But even like in Germany, the people that were serving and conducting themselves in such evil and horrible ways, look what happened. We see video of Germany where an innocent man's in the street being clubbed by citizens. And those citizens weren't evil people who wanted to club an innocent man. What those citizens were innocent, were citizens who wanted to appear to agree with the ideals of the authorities and the mobs so that they wouldn't be that victim in the street being clubbed.
Right.
You see, and that's mob rule. That's where you would conceal your own feelings and beliefs about something in self-preservation and then demonstrate the same way that the mob is demonstrating in order to protect yourself, in order to be anonymous and not stand out.
It's the same thing with bullies. You know, you have, like I used to have these friends or so-called friends in school on the bus. Mm-hmm. Or, I mean, I would go over and hang out at his house and sometimes stay the night. You know, we had a lot in common. We had a good time hanging out together. But whenever he got around his friends at school, he became a bully. Yeah. And it's because they want to side with the main bully, and they want to make sure that they're not going to be the ones getting bullied.
Right, and your only hope for that
Uncle Ray, long time no see.
That somebody intervenes, somebody with power provided by their popularity would somehow stand up for you and have compassion. Yeah. Which would usually not be until it was so extreme that they just couldn't bear it anymore.
Welcome back, Scott.
And felt personally responsible as a leader, as somebody that people gave power by their popularity. Right. Or that somebody who was feared and respected as capable of defending you. You know what I mean? And that's mob rule, that really is. And how far back does it go? Where does it start? And how has it infiltrated our court systems? That these people are not being aggressively pursued and prosecuted.
Dennis Everson has a good point. We need some humble marches rather than some pride marches. Yeah. See, okay, and this is the double standards is what bothers me about all this kind of stuff. You know, like they can have pride marches for homosexuality or being African American or being this or being that. But if a white man wants to have, I mean, unfortunately, it's because a lot of people who have always said that they're proud to be white end up being racist. But why can't you be proud to be white and not be racist?
I think it is racist by nature. if you're pointing out race as a prideful thing.
Yeah, but not well, I mean, okay, so prejudice would be the word I would use then.
Well, pride would be in something, an accomplishment, something that you...
Because they're being racist as well.
Have credit for. How do you have credit for being white or black?
You know, we're all human.
The question really is, do you want to have a white pride march? Do we really want to have black pride marches or gay pride marches? Are those really good things? They're not. I don't believe that they are.
I think we should have a march saying, I'm proud to be a human being. I am proud to be saved by grace. Not proud, but glad to be saved by grace. You know, Christian marches would be attacked.
Well, and look, all of these marches, there are those that oppose it who show up. I mean, so people showing up to
Dennis,
a white pride or a Christian pride march is no different than what happens to their marches.
Dennis Everson says there's only one race. It's a human race, and different colors of skins are just ethnic groups. Race is a liar that comes from Darwin's lie of evolution. And Marcia says, yes, Dennis.
Yeah.
So, and there's a reason why there's a missing link across the entire board, because
Yeah, it's missing across every species. It's
every
not
single
just,
one.
and I think that's part of the lie, is that they show you the evolution of man, and then they say there's a missing link, but then they don't tell you that this is true for every species. So they don't tell you how starfish have a missing link. They don't tell you how every species that we know of has a missing link. Plus, the amount of time it takes, and this is such a complicated thing. But in order for, and I can never come up with the right word until I've wasted so much time thinking about it. But there's okay, so for something to evolve, there has to be a mutation where the mutation is beneficial and more complex than its original design by its genetic design. So you have a cell that is, say, that is part of, we have a liver cell of this cell.
Marching to Zion, Uncle Ray says.
Yeah, so you have a cell that mutates, okay? So it's not what it was originally designed by its DNA to be, but its mutation is somehow beneficial and more complex than the original. The rarity of a mutation like that is unseen. I mean, it's except in theory. A mutation is basically cancerous. It's a cell that changes and goes outside of its genetic design, and then its function is assumed to be what its genetic design is for. It is registered with the rest of the body as that originally genetically designed cell, but then it doesn't function the same. It doesn't function right. So then it fails, and it takes over the body because it reproduces, and that's cancerous. That's cancer. That's what a mutation is. Do we really believe that all the generations of cells that reproduce to its genetic design and function as its genetic design gives it instruction to, mutates
Dad.
and somehow is more complex and more beneficial to the body that it's part of than the original cell that it's designed to be? It's just not possible. It's not true. And they won't tell you that. Plus, all of these new species, when we go into geology and dig up the earth and find out where all of these new species that we know of come from, it's like a 60,000 year, and I'm not saying 60,000 years is the amount of time, but where we see it in geology, it's 60,000 years. And there is no way that that's possible for all of these mutations to occur and for there to be enough mutations that were positive mutations and not cancerous for all of these species to emerge.
Yeah.
And then for them all to have missing links as well. That it's unfathomable. It's absurd.
Dennis Everson makes a good point. He says, and you have to have a mutation in male and a female so that they can reproduce in order that the mutation to be passed on, and the odds of that are astronomical.
They're not even astronomical. They're impossible.
Yeah. And then Steve McAllister says, good morning, Marcia. Marcia says, good morning, Steve. Scott says, good morning, Steve. Dad says, hello, boys. Or morning, boys.
Good morning.
Morning, Dad. Morning, Daddy. Daddy. He hates it when I call him that. Daddy. And then Scott says, good morning,
mob
Marcia.
rule and stuff like that. See, that's the thing, is scientists have to consider, if I say this, what am I really saying and who's going to come against me? Right?
Right.
And are you admitting that God designed it? And then the question is, who is God and where is he? And then how can a scientist answer that?
And
they would change their field of science. They would have to change their field of science just to answer the question, which would be a metaphysical science, which
Right.
isn't really scientifically notable. Where are your thoughts? The thoughts you just had, where are they? How can we examine them? How can we be sure of what they are? How they emerge, how they come about? That's the science, that's the field of science that these scientists would have to go into if they were to answer the very questions they know the answers to.
Right. All right. Sorry, we got a whole good morning thing going on the on our comments. Everyone's saying good morning to one another.
Are we supposed to change the
Good
subject?
morning, Steve. Good morning, Marcia. Good morning, Scott. Good morning, my husband. Good morning, wife. My awesome wife. Good morning, Marcia, I say. And then it's just funny that everybody's like, good morning. It's almost like the Waltons when they're going to bed. Good night, John boy.
Yeah.
Good night, Billy Bob. Good night, good night.
Yeah.
You know how we used to do when I lived at your house. Good night, Jay. Good night, Brother Jay.
Right.
Well, we didn't do that back then. We do that now. Hey, Brother Jay.
So I have to be more. I have to be braver, and stand against the false.
We all do.
The bad ideas.
We all do.
And the false teachings, and to stand up for the truth, and to tell the truth, and at least not to, and I've heard this. I'll say not a sponsor, but Jordan Peterson. I've been listening to him a lot, and I've listened to a lot of other extensive works by all these different people, scientists, people who claim to be scientists, but great thinkers, and listened to all of their opposing arguments and followed them deeply into their whatever they put on YouTube, their thoughts and their debates and all this stuff.
Marcia says, Jason, good conversation.
And they're just it just doesn't make sense how anybody could do it.
Good night, John Kretzmann. Because
the scientists, the intelligent people who are against and disbelieve in and want everybody to not believe in God, when you really follow their work, they're not scientists, and they're not doing scientific. They're not stating scientific truth. What their weapons against theology are to mock and to ask irrelevant questions in order to expose a seeming contradiction or this or that. Like they'll take and they'll quote instructions by God to a nation and then assume, without saying it's instruction by God to a nation as a result of what they have to do because of their sin, and then apply that to an individual, which doesn't apply. It's not the same. God's instruction to a nation to act as a nation is not the same as his instruction to an individual to act as an individual.
Dennis Severson says, an honest scientist looking at the facts would confess intelligent design.
They do.
Yeah.
The ones who are brave.
What they don't tell you also is, whenever they're out there digging up these bones, these skeletons, there's like they don't tell you about the duck skeleton next to the Tyrannosaurus Rex, or something to that extent.
Who were there at the same time.
Birds did not evolve from dinosaurs.
I mean, and there are arguments for and against that, and it's easy to argue those things. Like, well, so just because a bird evolved into a dinosaur doesn't mean they all did, because these were mutations. But then you have to ask the question, like he said, you have to have male and female of the same generation mutate and become a more complex animal at the same time, in the same proximity to each other.
Right. And have a child.
And then have a child. And then have to choose each other, which then we're talking about chemistry that's unbelievably...
astronomically impossible, really.
Well, but so complex in its chemistry that they wouldn't even choose each other, even if they were in proximity. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The selection for mating is based on such a other, so I don't know. When I look into these things, I find it all to be preposterous.
Sorry, that was Tanner. I made sure that he was okay with me playing his new song on the air. He asked, did you listen? Yeah, you listened to it yet?
We can't let mobs and arguments against the Word of God silence us. We have to stand on it, and we have to demonstrate faith. We have to be able to say, look, I don't have the answer to that. But I also know, by looking into these matters, that you don't really have the answer either.
Right.
And so my question is that we're asking the wrong questions about the wrong things. Who are you? When you die, is your life meaningless? Are all of your thoughts and all of your attempts to have some relevance in the world just dust? Is that really what you believe? Who is it that you talk to when you are nihilistic and you are in despair? Who is it that you talk to when you're alone and nobody else seems to care? Everybody reaches that point in their life. Everybody has that despair at some point in their life. And who is it that they're talking to? And what are they hearing? What's in their mind?
Right.
Where does that trace come from? And where does it go?
I'm supposed to read the disclaimer before we play this too.
Play what? Oh, the music.
The song is called Bluegrass Ain't Dead.
Bluegrass Ain't Dead. Let's hear it.
Um,
Am I going to hear it over the headphones?
yes, you will. Everybody will.
All right.
Okay, so this is our opportunity to listen to a song by, well, first of all, it's time for a real quick commercial. Let's go ahead and merge it on over there, brother.
Hold on one second. Let me get to you. Are you ready?
Yep.
And there you are. Is this Natural Solutions?
No, this is the telethon.
Telethon. We need help and
Our
support.
live stream telethon coming up. And I say catch the fall telethon live on Axe Media Group's Facebook page. Don't miss it. Facebook.com/Axe Media Group. Monday, October 28th and Tuesday, October 29th. Donate to your favorite show, Morning Drive, Happy Hour, Crosswalk of Hope, The Gold Standard, Basics of Faith, The Power Hour, or something to celebrate. You can also donate to support veterans programs, autism awareness, kidney fund, promote your business while supporting a worthy cause. If you have more questions or anything about if you want to sponsor an hour or a half hour, or if you just like a 3-minute commercial, or if you just want to donate to us, go to 4321axtreasurer@gmail.com. Send an email to them, and they will get back. Or you can just go to axmediagroup.com, and there is a contact us part there that will go right to us as well. So if you're interested in helping us out, because we really need your help to continue doing what we do, you can do the right thing by helping us to do the right thing. And we want to get the gospel out there, as well as just help people. So go online. I about said naturalsolutionstore.bz, but go to axmediagroup.com /please-donate. If you just want to donate to us, you can set up a monthly gift or a one-time gift. So yeah, anyways, go there, check it out. Back to you guys.
Whoops.
What'd you whoops about?
I fell behind.
So I have not heard the song yet.
You haven't?
Not even.
Neither have I.
So he said, read the disclaimer first.
This is a premiere.
This is a premiere. I mean, I'm sure there's nothing inappropriate about it, but
No.
But you know, hey,
Let's hear it.
without further ado, let's just do it. Bringing music. What does it say? Back to its gospel roots. That's what the opening part of the page says. A new song by Tanner Gibbs. Bluegrass Ain't Died.
You heard the words of amazing grace, about the sweet sound of my Savior. You heard the sound of
He's doing these at his house.
rugged
Yep.
cross that he carried of Calvary. You're probably wondering what happened to the good old days of music. Well, I bet you are. Some people fell in love with the blues, yet all they do is abuse it. But I got some good news for you. Bluegrass ain't died, and gospel's still alive. It ain't about beers and bars, or girls and charts, or weed and cars. It's about my Savior and living with Him forever. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound. Halfway home and heaven bound.
Nice. Well done. Well said.
He's playing the electric guitar, I think.
surprised he hasn't died with all the new stuff on the radio. People singing what it is to be a man who don't really understand what their fathers did, kid. Oh, it's crazy, I know. But bluegrass ain't died, ain't gospel still alive. It ain't about beers and bars or girls and shots or weed and cars. It's about my Savior and living with Him forever. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound. I'm halfway home and heaven bound.
I enjoy hearing his development of his skill.
Well, bluegrass ain't died, ain't gospel still alive. Ain't about beers and bars or girls and trucks or weed and cars. It's about my Savior and living with Him forever. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound. Halfway home and halfway home and halfway home and heaven bound.
Was there a clap in there?
There you go.
I love that.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
He's got a sound for sure.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah,
His
and a rhythm.
his vocals, like his voice, has got kind of a scruffiness to it that I think
stands out. He does
it does.
brilliant things with his voice that are getting attention. I am very proud of him.
And the words are
Yes,
pretty good.
The words
It's
are
not
great.
about
Well, because what does that do? It includes people like us in our time of when we weren't doing the right thing, you know? Because we relate to that.
yeah.
But now I wish his vocals were a little bit higher.
Steve, he is right now. He's doing homeschooling, so whether or not he can be on today or tomorrow, we'll probably wait until tomorrow so that if he can be on tomorrow, we'll let him. He'll be on
Maybe
longer.
folks will be having questions about his music.
You never know.
Yeah.
Jonathan Christmas said, "Is there not a good?" And you believe? Okay, so I'm gonna have to go through all of our these. I agree, Steve and Marcia. The honest scientist. Is there? If there is not a good, and you believe what you have lost. Okay, so you'll have to Oh, if there's not a God, and you believe, what have you lost? It's a good point. Is Tanner on the show on Tuesdays? Well, generally, but he gets pretty busy here lately. Very good. Dennis Evers said third. Bruce Pearson said third generation.
Yeah.
Good going, Tanner Gibbs. Steve McAllister says.
Very nice, Tanner. Love it.
So we just need to get him to work on getting closer to the mic so we can
Making
hear.
sure his vocals are up as high as they should
We
be.
want to, we want to be able to actually hear the words a little bit more clearly. That's the only notes that I have for you on that. And then because I mean, he's only been playing guitar for what, a year now, a little over a year, maybe two. So he's doing pretty good. So, I mean, if he's I wasn't nowhere near as good.
Well, his vocals have developed
By that
into
age.
quite a fine instrument, I think, though I don't know technically anything about it. But when I hear it, I find it to be very interesting, and I listen very closely. So I like that about it.
Yeah, it is pretty. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Good job, son. Kudos. I think he was just worried because he says beer and weed and cars and stuff
Oh,
like that.
well, yeah.
I mean,
I think I know. I think at least I'm acquainted with a couple hundred people who would be interested to hear that song, and it might make some sense to them.
yeah. Gospel ain't died. I like how he used that. What do they call that?
Yeah.
Because ain't.
Ain't a word.
It's what do they call that contraction? What is that where, like when
Artistic license?
No, ain't is it is a word. It is
Right.
a
It's been entered as a word because it was so used,
yeah,
used.
yeah.
They used to tell me ain't a word. So
He
I'm
said
from
sorry.
a time before this new dictionary came out.
He said, sorry, it was late last night. Or else I'd be on. No, that's all right, son. We'll have you on. We'll have you on tomorrow if we can.
So I believe, I wouldn't argue I understand the argument, and logically and reasonably, it's a good one about, if you believe in something that's not true, what have you lost? I would say that Jesus Christ really did die for our sins. He was the Son of God. He was God. He was crucified and suffered the just punishment that we deserve.
Well, that's like Dad told me a time about when he was in the Vietnam War. There was a well-known atheist in his group, and they got ambushed, and this guy pulled a little card out of his helmet and started reading it, and it was the Lord's Prayer.
Yeah.
And Dad said, "What are you doing? I thought you were an atheist." He says, "It can't hurt."
Yeah, and so he was not an atheist, and that's the argument I tell to atheists, and it usually breaks them down, whether they like it or not, because the truth is God gives us all a measure of faith. He created us.
Yeah.
His breath is in us, that is life itself. So we can't be completely absent of God,
Right.
of belief in God.
No.
And so I tell them that, and I don't believe anybody that says they don't believe in God at all. There is no God. God doesn't exist.
Well, people force themselves to believe that there is no God because they feel better about the debauchery.
I think it's also the challenge is, what do you believe? If you're going to believe in God, what do you believe?
Right. Right.
And that's the challenge. And we all believe something just a little bit different because of our experience. The problem is we're seeking God and to be closer to him. It's not the other way. Well, it is the other way around, too, because God seeks us and wants to be close to us.
Yep.
But it's the connection there that we make. And I think the challenge is, what do you believe as the one true God? Well,
Right.
I believe in the one true God, and he is the one true God.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And to those of you who are calling yourselves atheists because you're a little confused, or you don't know, or the questions and challenges that arise when you start to nurture the faith that God's given you, I would say believe in Jesus Christ and read the Word of God. Read the Christian Bible. Find out who God is, and then judge.
Right.
And I wouldn't say then judge, but then, let him prove himself.
Yeah.
Let him prove that the Christian Bible is true, that it's not a better way, that this instruction that he left for us about what he expects of us and how we can be close to him. If you put aside your own beliefs and what you might think is right or wrong or the best approach to any circumstance in your life, give that up, study and search the scriptures, find out what God says to do in those circumstances, do it, and then see that he won't prove himself to be true.
Right.
He will.
Right.
I
He will.
promise you he will.
Without a doubt.
Prayer. People pray all the time and feel like their prayers are not answered. God has a will and a plan and a design for our life, and that's what we need to be seeking and praying for and asking for.
Yep.
And when we do that, we find that he answers prayers.
Well, as we are winding down the rest of the day here,
Yeah, we're out of time.
trying to make sure I got all of our comments read up and everything. Sometimes when I go out of the screen and come back, it gets them all mixed up. So we were talking about evolution and stuff like that, and how God is mob rule. Mob rule is what you were talking about, and
Well, it's an all-encompassing conversation about what happened to Jesus Christ and what brought him to the crucifixion. And I thank God that it did rule then, because our Lord and our Savior was crucified for us. He took the punishment that allows us forgiveness, that justice was served on our
he'll
behalf.
be on the phone, Steve. Tanner will be on the
Sorry.
phone. Oh, sorry. That's all right. I'm just trying to make sure everybody's comments get mentioned.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
It's time for one last commercial, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
All right.
Is it going to merge you over there?
Merge me over
And
there.
who are you doing a commercial
Let's
for?
do another naturalsolutionstore.bz. There we go.
Got it.
We're back.
There you
Hey,
are.
hey, everybody. This is the last commercial that you'll see me on this show. So, naturalsolutionstore.bz. I talked about it earlier. And, the product that I happened to talk about was called 5-HTP. Now, there are many other supplements on naturalsolutionstore.bz, one of which I've used and highly recommend, Super Hemp Balm. So you go on there, check it out. If you got sore aches, like sore shoulders, sore knee, back, just whatever physical pain that you have that is chronic, get yourself a jar of this stuff. Apply a tiny bit to the affected area, and in 10-20 minutes, you'll notice a huge difference. Now, granted, it doesn't take the pain away 100%, not on me anyways, but it does drop it down at least 75%. So that's a huge jump from ouch to, okay, I can deal with this. So go online, naturalsolutionstore.bz, and pick yourself up a jar of Super Hemp Balm today. Back to you guys. All right, so Jay,
Yeah.
it's about time for us to get
Did
out
we
of
get everybody's comments?
here. Yes, we did.
All right.
Sorry, I hate to feel like I'm like interrupting you
No,
whenever I
that's
do
okay.
that. But we
Hey,
want
that's what we do.
part of
It's
the
a
reason.
conversation.
Yeah, part of what we do is to try and get all the comments and stuff and the interactions. Otherwise, people will stop interacting. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it's time for us to get out of here. We'll be back on tomorrow. Be sure and tune in next for Something to Celebrate with Tom and Amber. See what kind of crazy food they got for us to try out today, if any. So we'll be back on tomorrow, same time, same channel. I'd like to thank you all for joining us today. So until then, my friends, God bless you and keep you. We love you. My name is Matt,
My name is Jay.
and this has been The Morning Drive.